So let's get going then. Okay, so hello everybody. We're reading once again the story by Roman Rudin. This is one of his short stories from the collection of short stories, and the collection is called Strange Occurrence in the Region of the Heart. This particular one is The Unassailable. The Unassailable. And it's 3 pages or 3 openings. So, Michael, is it okay if you read this page here, everything on this page here?
Okay.
And, and then we'll sort of ask him any questions, whatever. So over to you, Michael.
My name is Gustav Braun. I'm a soldier. Every time I hear the age-old call to arms, my life starts over again. I was in the first rank of Alexander's phalanx and already knew then that I was unassailable. I sowed the seeds of death and trampled on the corpses of my enemies. And right and left of me, my comrades fell down dead with smiles on their faces. While Alexander knew the true value of his greatness, greatness, while Alexander knew the true value of his greatness only when I left his forces. Then followed Caesar's legions, the accursed barbarians, and centuries of dark oblivion. I forgot all the names under which I fought for all those years. I was witness to the rise of great empires as well as to their complete annihilation. Damn modesty. After all, it was I who had brought these bloodthirsty leaders to power, as well as being the reason of their ultimately downfall. Only once did only once did I allow myself to be crowned, but I very quickly realized that my bestowal was becoming a heavy burden, and that if I didn't return to the ranks as an ordinary soldier, I would have to conquer, conquer the whole world, and that was not in my plans. I lived so many I lived so many lives that I started quite naturally to recall how Alexander, with precise movements of his clasped hand, would triumphantly direct his phalanx, which had managed to withstand the enemy's simultaneous onslaught on four sides. Or I would recall how Caesar, from the top of the hill, would look down on his legions, which had shattered the Greek phalanx that had proven invincible in the valleys, but powerless in the Balkan foothills. The ease with which I was able to see through the commander's eyes what was happening around made me begin to seriously believe in the unassailability of one of my warriors.
Right. Okay. We'll stop it there. Obviously, it's the middle of a sentence, so we could go over, but I think we'll stop there. I'll just flick over the page. So it says, who always found himself at the centre of the battle, but who always remained unharmed. So remember reading that last time, actually. So he was always at the centre of the battle, but always unharmed. That's interesting. So that person sounds unassailable. So, okay, so anything you want to ask about there? Anything that struck you or any words you want to go back over again as you're reading that bit there, Michael?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm. Okay.
Mm, Then followed Caesar's legions, the accursed.
Ah, you've got it. Pro. Um, I would say the accursed. Accursed.
Accursed.
It's one of those strange situations where the ed sound is a bit odd. Accursed. It's quite an old word sort of.
Accursed. It's the same meaning like curse.
Yes, it's basically that word. Yes, that's it. Yeah. If I just what does it say in the dictionary? They're saying it's an adjective. It's more literary, so you would see it in a book rather than everyday language. So it's something that's under a curse. And then there's an example sentence. It says, "The angel of death walks this accursed house." You might say that for some reason. In a book, you might say, I should say. I'm not quite sure what ATTR, attributed maybe. Used to express strong dislike or anger, strong dislike of or anger at someone or something. This accursed country. Someone might say that. But again, it would be in a book. You probably would never say it in real life. You probably, if you read it, you might read it in Shakespeare a good number of times. I think possibly. I'm guessing, but you don't really use it nowadays. Accursed. So yeah, but it's based on curse. So if you're swearing at someone, you might say that they're cursed a person for some reason. Yeah, that's that word. It, just
uh,
literary, really.
accursed. Um,
Accursed, accursed.
accursed. Accursed.
Yeah, you've
And
got it really. That's it.
I think annihilation or annihilation is
I
the
think
correct pronunciation. Annihilation.
I think for me the H is just too strong when you're saying it. So
Annihil
it, and I would
annihilation.
say annihilation. Annihilation.
Annihilation.
That's what I would say, annihilation. But let me just bring up the dictionary because I'm not 100% sure actually. There may be more than one way of saying it. So it's almost to me that the H is silent. Oh blast! I've broken the dictionary again, have I? Verifying you are human. This may take a few moments. So I would say annihilation. Annihilation.
Annihilation.
Yeah. So it's almost as if the H isn't there at all in a way. Well, maybe. Well, is it gonna?
Because in my language, it's this word pronounced with strong g. Annihilation.
Oh, that's interesting.
A-
And I think
Annihilacja.
we had Rusland yesterday. I think that's how he said it. I think he did anyway. Yeah, he said it with a strong hate. Well, so I had to sort of go back on that one. So it basically means total
Yeah,
destruction. There's
yeah.
basically nothing left. So let's hear how they say it.
Annihilation.
Annihilation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
annihilation. So once more,
annihilation.
yeah, it is sort of there, but sort of yes and no. Let me play it once more.
Annihilation.
Annihilation. Yeah. Um,
Annihilation.
um, it is slightly there. It is. Let's. Oh, do the Americans? The Americans don't say any different. I don't think. Okay. There's no button to press anyway. Okay. It doesn't get a great deal of use, to be honest. It's not like a very common word. Whoops. So, any other words there? So that's annihilation. Annihilation. Any other ones?
Uh, when I was crowned,
Oh,
bestowal. My bestowal was bestowal.
yeah. I think you're saying it better. When you read it out first of all, you were quite a way off. But the more you're saying it, you're getting there. So, it's more bestowal, bestowal,
Bestowal.
bestowal. Yeah. So it's basically the same meaning as crowned. So when the crown is given to you, it's bestowed to you. It's sort of given to you in a sense. Obviously, it goes on your head when you become a king or something like that. So, so the bestowal really is sort of like the ceremony when you are crowned or given some sort of great honor. If you've become a lord or a sir or something, you get some sort of an honor like that. That's your bestowal ceremony. Is when you're given that title or that honor or or the crown if you're being made a king or something. So that's.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it again? So bestowal, bestowal.
Bestowal.
Yeah,
Bestowal.
yeah. Okay.
Best of
I know
all.
there's a W there. and I am sort of saying it, but you're a little bit too strong on it. It's one of those words where it's almost as if it's not exactly silent. It's a bit like the H in Annihilation. It is there, it is doing something, but you're just a bit too strong when you're saying it. It's a bit like the word, there's the word power on the screen here. Um, and when you're saying power, I can really hear there's a W in it. But a lot of people in Britain sort of miss the W is a bit,
Power.
it's fairly quiet, I would say. And in bestowal, it's similar.
W-
So if I just say both of those words, so power, power, and
Power.
bestowal. And again,
Power.
power, power.
Power.
Yeah, so I've highlighted it there, but I'm not saying it's silent, but it's more as if I think it's the O and the W together make a single sound. That's the way most people think of it. So it makes this ow sound. The OW
Ow.
makes an ow sound.
Ow.
I would say anyway. So power, power.
Power.
Um, I can still hear the W. So let me. It's probably that there's. I know the Scottish. If we ask the Scottish people, they say it sort of similarly to you. So you'd fit in Scotland quite well, I'd say, in the Highlands of Scotland. That's how they say it. Absolute power. So if you're a king, you have absolute power. If you're Donald Trump, you have absolute power. So let's listen to how they say power here.
power,
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Once again, I'll play it again.
power,
Power. I think you're just a bit too strong on the W, only a little
Yeah.
bit. So just ease back on the W when you think about it. If you think about it, I should say. If you think about it. Okay, it's not vital. I wasn't going to mention it, but because you're saying it quite strongly in the word bestowal. That's why I mentioned it.
Bes-
Bestowal, bestowal. I'll let you
Bestowal.
play with that. Yeah, once more on bestowal.
Bestowal.
Okay, yeah, that's better. I think that is better. It could be slightly quieter again, but that's okay. It's good enough, sort of thing. But with the word bestowal, it's such an unusual word. It probably gets used about once every 50 years or something when someone is being crowned king or something. Outside of that, it doesn't really get used. So any other words? Oh, yeah, there was this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conquer.
Yeah, you're pretty much there now. Every time up until now, you haven't got it. You haven't got it. Yeah, but you got it now. So conquer, con, and then cur. Although it's
Yeah.
It was another C sound really. So conquer,
Conquer.
conquer. That's it.
Conquer.
Conquer. Yeah.
Conquer.
Yeah. Okay. You're a bit too loud on the second cur sound. So I think the emphasis on the front maybe. Conquer. Yeah. It's loud at the front of the word, then it gets quieter. So conquer, and so the first con has the bit more loudness to it, a bit more emphasis on the.
Conquer.
Yeah, that's about
Conquer.
equal. Yeah, that's about equal now. That's good. That's good. That's it. You're getting it. So you only really use this word if you win something, and if you beat
Yeah.
somebody else, I should say. If someone else gets beaten, and probably quite badly, then you would say the word conquer. And if you win, I don't know, something quite big. If you're playing a game of tennis, you don't say, I just conquered you. You might just say, I just won. But if it's a huge win and someone is crushed on the other side, you might then say conquer. So really only talk about it in war when one side beats the other. That's really the only time you use that word. So when I think about it, I meant to go back over here when we were doing annihilation. So this word here is damn, and I think so the sound wasn't quite there. So damn. So the N is silent really. Damn. Do you want to try again?
Damn.
That's it. Yeah. A good American accent there. Damn. That's it. Damn. That's it. And it's sort of like a swear word sort of thing. If you
Yeah.
want to, you might say, "Damn you for breaking my favorite cup." You might say if you're angry. If you're angry. So, okay. Anything else then? So we've done that word there. Any other thing? Oh, there was this one here. As I
Oh
remember.
yeah.
Tri- so if you when you
Triumphantly.
win, you can say you're triumphant, or
Tri
when you win, you say I had a triumph when you win.
triumph.
Yeah, so just up to there, up to the H, triumph. Um,
triumphantly.
and you can then, after you've had a big win, you can walk around triumphantly. I'm walking around triumphantly because I had a lovely big win in my tennis game. So, do you want to say triumphantly? Triumphantly?
Triumphantly.
Yeah, spot on.
Triumphantly.
Yeah, spot on. You couldn't improve on that. And maybe these three words here are a bit tricky. So it's sword clasped hand, sword clasped hand.
Sword. Sword clasped hand.
That's it. So it's just a poetic way of talking about Alexander when he was holding his sword, his weapon, and in particularly he was holding it in his hand. That's a poetic way of talking about it, really, I guess. So it's a little. So it says sword clasp. It's a little bit like this phrase over here. It's got a hyphen in it too. Age old, age old. It's just an old way of, sort of a slightly poetic way of making a reference to something, changing the word order. And then maybe this word here, I think. So, can you say this word again?
With withstand.
Yeah, that's it basically. Yeah, so it's sort of like two words glued together. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Withstand, withstand. Once again,
Withstand.
that's it. Yeah,
Withstand.
yeah.
Withstand.
Your first one was your best one, I think. Yeah, withstand. That's it. So I think the emphasis on the first part, and it gets a bit quiet as you go on. I think withstand. So if something happens, let's say it's a big flood, and there's a dam holding back the water, you can say, oh, there was a big flood, but the dam, it didn't collapse, it withstood, or you could say it withstand.
Mm.
Withstood would be the past tense, wouldn't it? So withstood, it withstood the flood. It didn't
With
collapse under the what.
withstand.
And you might say in a battle as well that the enemy's attack was terrible, but we withstood it, or withstand. Be the other way of using it. So withstood is obviously the past tense, and withstand is the present tense. That's it. So you've got it basically, I think. Anything else there? That was great, actually. Actually, that was a fantastic reading, I should say. Really, really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
That was great. Um, yeah, I think your valleys. I think the V in the valleys was a bit like a W of Walleys. I think it was
Mm.
Walleys. I think it was.
V-
If I remember.
valleys.
Yeah, you're spot on. Perfect. Um, and this word here, I guess it doesn't get a lot of use. This word.
Ease.
That's it. Yeah, ease. That's it. Yeah, ease. Yeah. If that was a Y on the end, it's an E there at the moment. If
Yeah.
that E was a Y, then it would be the word easy. Easy. But as it is now, that is really the word ease. That's it. So there's the two words, obviously similar word meanings, aren't they? All the same meaning, pretty much, I should say. That is easy, or I did it with ease, might be another way of saying it. So basically have the same meaning. And maybe the word, do you want to say this word here again? I think this word tripped you up a little bit, I think.
Commanders.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Commanders, commanders.
Commanders.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
If it commanders or commanders is
Um, I would say commanders. That's what I would say. Yeah, but I think we take the meaning that he owns his eyes. Most people have two eyes, I guess. This one's been shot out in battle or something. Then you might just have the one. No, I think this is a case of just singular. I mean, not singular, but possessive. I should say possessive. Yeah, just commander's eyes. Unless I'm wrong, of course. I don't think so. Interesting. The commander's eyes. Yeah, I think that's what I would say. It wouldn't sound right if it said the commander's eyes. Commander's eyes. I don't think so. Um, I wonder it's a little bit like the word. So there is the word yours. So in a sense, you could say there really should be an apostrophe there when you say the word yours, but we don't. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but it's possible. Okay, anything else? Anything else? Even Zach, anything else you spotted here that you want to go back over again? Anyone? Anything you want to go back over again? Corpse, saleable shrimp, did a curse. There was actually this word here. So this is so to
Precise.
recall. Oh yeah, that was it. Yes, precise. Yeah, I think you just said a different word. I can't remember what you said now. So precise. So exact, basically. Exact. It means, doesn't it? So anything for anyone else? Okay, well we'll scroll on then. We'll go to the other side. So at the very bottom here, we're talking about a particular person. So I'll read the next bit then, because I think Zach, you read the last bit last time you were here. So let me read from the ease. So the ease with which I was able to see through the commander's eyes. Now maybe it is commander's. It maybe it is commander's. The commander's eyes. What was happening around made me begin to seriously believe in the unassailability of one of my warriors who always found himself at the very center of the battle, but who always seemed but always emerged unharmed. Of course I understood that I couldn't be simultaneously Caesar and the soldier who had brought the former in a state of mystical awe, but there was nothing I could do about it. I was even suspected of lunacy and heresy, but as I gave no preference to any of those to whom I ascribed my memories, my accusers could not drag me to the stake. And that's how things continued for quite a while. I learnt more and more about the world around me and about the people I came to live amongst. Over time, history resembled less and less the recollections I had of it. Gradually, I became Gustav Braun again, and Greece and Rome remained in the distant past, where I had no place. Every night, the rivers carried their waters to the sea. All those many stars gazed down on me from the heavens, while I lay on the ground, protected by my shield, with my sword clasped in my hand, pondering my destiny for the countless time. So I've stopped there. So, any questions about what I've just read and any mistakes that I've made, which are probably legion, Roman legion? Anything there? Otherwise, it's back over to you, Zach, to carry on with this other bit here.
Okay.
Okay, so over to you then. It's from How Many Fools?
How many fools offered me their entire wealth in exchange for my sword, thinking it was holy. Sorry. With wildfire in their eyes, they tried to persuade me to sell it. But when I refused, they would order me to give up my weapon, thinking it is the reason for my unassailability. Good knows the measures I took to prove to them the vanity of their hopes. Once I simply threw the sword overboard when we were sailing with Columbus to India. But despite this, my hopes of dying in the battle for new lands were in vain. Spears, arrows, and bullets flew past me, unarmed, and as I was. As before, knife and sabers could do me no harm. Naive, natives started to fear my appearance, and whenever I did appear, they would prostrate themselves in front of me or flee in terror. And this was resistance of the most recalcitrant, was ashamed, smashed while I having little to do, started studying plants unknown to Europeans and the unusual properties. This occupation so engrossed me that from the time on, I never took up a weapon again. Through every time that age-old call on arms rings out my blood, those colored I don't know even now, pounds in my head in a hot stream because I'm a soldier, was a soldier, and will ever remain one, despite having condemned myself to a long period of inactivity. So that in the future I should have something to compare to the idle fancies of historians concern concerning the past, my present, I began to describe what was happening around me. But that time I had returned to Europe, settling in a small town by the sea, and providing a few generation of bookshops, owners with a comfortable living, from time to time reminding them about their promise to keep my secret. Recently, I realized that my secret was worth more than the price I had paid for it, and that it was time for me to leave the town, which which in 100 years would in invid I don't know inevitably be just a part of imagination. Today I saw my sword again, a man who didn't look like an archaeologist or idle tourist, of which the streets of this town where I, I while away my days are so full, laid it before me. He sits opposite me in an armchair, and a flame I knew well flashes in his eyes, and flame that destroyed all those who at one time flew of the idea of conquering the world, my world. Mm, I read my name on the untarnished blade, and next to it, the age-old call to arms that heats up my blood. In a moment, I will kill this arrogant stranger unless he turns out to be the devil himself, making an appearance at last to offer me something new in exchange for the eternity to which I had grown so tired.
Yes. Great. Yeah, tricky as well. So, and I remembered now you had read some of this already. We go back to the other
Yeah, beginning.
page. Yeah, so what I was impressed with. So we did this word last time, sabers, and you remembered it.
Sabers.
That was good. Sabers. That's it. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. So it's a special kind of sword, particular kind of sword, basically, of course. So I think there's two kinds of swords I know. There's what's called an epee, and there's sabers. There's just two types of swords. I don't know any other ones. Anything else? Anything you noticed there on that bit there?
Yeah, there's lots and
Oh, there's like, well, pick out what strikes you then. You can't do literally
mm,
everything, I guess, but
most
oh, recalcitrant. That's it. Yeah, we had that. Yeah, we did have
recalcitrant.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, recalcitrant. Yeah, so it's a bit of an odd word, isn't it?
recalcitrant.
recalcitrant. So we click on it, it brings up into the. So having an obstinately uncooperative attitude towards authority. So there's people who just won't work with authority. They hate having somebody over them, hate having a manager or whatever over them. That's what I hate having a manager, but we have to get it sometimes. Maybe I think you're saying this the Spanish way.
Yeah,
So so this is the person. We say it as Columbus in Britain. Columbus.
Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus. That's pretty good. I think it's better than last time. Actually, that's good. If I click over maybe. There was the word holy up here, wasn't there somewhere? Or was it the next page? I think you said holly. I think you said holly, and it's actually holy. I think. Oh yeah, here it is.
Holy,
Holy.
yeah.
Yeah, holy.
It was whole. Is it
Yeah.
is it
If it
holy? Like a long O-E? Oh,
it so this is holy, holy, like in Holy Ghost or Holy
yeah.
Spirit. If
Holy.
it's double L, then it would be holy. It would be holly. Like if it's double L, it's holly. But it being only one L, it's holy. So it's a bit
So
tricky.
the expression is holy moly or holy moly?
I think they're both right. Yes, holy moly. Yes, that's right. If you something surprises you or you're shocked, you might say holy moly. But I think the last time I heard that was a long time ago. There's so many expressions, and sometimes they're in fashion, and if 5 years later they're out of fashion.
Yeah,
It's
like okie dokie. I said that other day,
yeah.
okie dokie, and the guy who I work with now, he said, "That's a really old expression. How do you know that?" I don't know.
Oh, that's funny that because they use that in Homer on the cartoon on Homer, don't they? So that's brought it back again. So it was a really really old phrase, but it's come back again because it's in Homer. The
Mm.
Simpsons, I should say Simpsons, not Homer. The Simpsons. But he's been using it the last 20 years, I suppose. That's well back. So there was something else I wanted to mention, but I can't think what it is. So let's carry on. Anything else there? But maybe Michael, do you see anything there you want to ask about before I flick over the page, Mark, or anything there, or anything for you, Zach?
This
So
page.
it's interesting how he at one point in his life it was spears and arrows, but then obviously later on it's bullets as well. Because we had this before. So he fought some battles with Caesar and Alexander the Great, or whatever it was. But he also knows Columbus, who sailed to America, well, or Indian, isn't
Seems
it?
like he was like the warrior who's going through the all
Yes.
toughest game, toughest battles, and it's like because bullets they're obviously been discovered very late in a
Ren,
way compared to
yeah,
Caesar's era.
yeah, yeah. Well, Caesar didn't know any bullets, I guess, but they did throw stones, didn't they, at very high speed? So they might have been similar to bullets. Um, So, did we do the word unassailable at the beginning? We didn't really say about that, did we? So,
Yeah, unassailable, and I
so
stopped
how would
again
you,
because
so how would you explain the word unassailable at the very beginning? What does that word mean? If I go back to the beginning again,
mm,
I think we said it last time. What does it mean? Do you remember?
it means like something is like unassailable.
Tricky.
It's very without doubt. No,
There's an
not really.
idea of that in there, but that's not really the main meaning. That's not the main meaning. Um, it's a little bit like unassailable. It's sort of like this other word, which is a bit tricky as well, invincible. And I think we said this last
Yeah,
time. Do you
that's the
remember?
word. Yeah.
So if something's invincible, what is that invincible then? What's invincible mean, would you say? What, Zach?
And
If you are
also,
invincible, what does it mean you are? Or if I'm invincible, what does it mean, invincible?
it's like I can't really adapt. Don't know.
Not,
No,
sort of in a
no.
way, but it's more that you can't lose. You can't lose basically. If you're invincible, you can only
Yeah,
win somehow. You're so strong or so powerful. It's like Arsenal at the moment. I mean, they perhaps they can lose. Arsenal at the top of the league at the moment, and they might seem invincible to all of their supporters. I'm sure they'll lose some games eventually.
Yeah, it's like yeah, the place can be unassailable. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, so
castle. It's
that's
now
really it. That's it. That's it. So a person or a group of people might be invincible, so they can't be beaten and they can't lose in a battle or something or a game or something. And unassailable normally sort of means, I say, that a fort or a castle, as just as you said, you can't really attack it successfully. You can try, but you'll because the walls are so high, you just can't get over it somehow.
oh,
So normally it's a place is unassailable.
and also I think it's like if someone got very strong evidence and argument, you can't really
Yeah,
undermine. Yeah, in a way this way.
exactly. Yes, and that's exactly what it says here. So I've just clicked on the dictionary. It says unable to be attacked. But it also means question. So you can't question it either because it's so everyone believes that thing. You just can't question it, or so everyone believes the manager or whatever it is. They can't be questioned or something,
Or
or
you're so
defeated.
narcissistic and you can't even. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like let's say Donald Trump. Bring Donald Trump to this. It's like he thinks his arguments are unsayable, but
yeah,
they're
yeah.
completely stupid what he thinks because he's got personality disorder thing.
Well, I would say he acts. I would say he acts if he's unassailable. But everyone around him sort of thinks, well, that's not really how it is. He acts as
Yeah,
if he's unassailable. No one, well, maybe his closest followers believe in him exactly, but a
He
lot of
would
people
like to
don't.
be.
Say again, is it Michael?
He'd like to be
Oh, yeah.
unassailable.
Yeah, he would like to be. Yes. But if you think about it, he is president of the most powerful country in the world. So in a way, he kind of is unassailable. He can sort of do anything in that position. It's almost as if he's invincible in a way. Well, let's get off the politics
yeah.
because we'll end up arguing in a minute. So if I flick over back to where we were, I think we did this page here. So recalcitrant, so someone who hates authority and sort of bucks against it. Columbus, maybe some other words there, I can't remember now. And of course, holy, that's holy, that one there.
Holy, okay. Holy Spirit, like okay.
That's it. And if it's double L, then it's holly. That's the difference, holly. Holy and holly. Anything on, this is the final page then. Anything here?
Mm,
I'm sure there's something here, but
yeah. This occupation so engrossed.
so it's occupation. So his
Yeah,
job. Yeah. So yeah. So
engrossed.
this occupation, and he so loved his job, his occupation, that he's engrossed. He's
It's
engrossed
like
in it. So he's really
embedded. No.
is if you're engrossed in a football match, you just can't take your eyes off it. Your mother may come in, say the house is on fire, get out. No, leave it, be okay. I'm watching this match. That is, if you're engrossed, that's what it is. You cannot leave it. It's so enthralling. It's so exciting. It means everything to you. So this occupation so engrossed me that from that time on, I never took up a weapon again. So he loved what he was doing so much, looking at plants, I think, wasn't it, that he never fought again. So it totally changed his life. That's the meaning there. Anything else there? Hopefully that's got it.
Yeah.
So
Y-
engrossed.
inviolable. I don't know what to say.
Infallible. So I'm not sure what the word
Mm,
was.
there was one word is where is it now? Yeah, which in 100 years would in
Oh,
invitation
inevitably. I think it was
inevitable.
inevitably,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That's right.
Inevitable. Yes, yeah.
So if something's inevitable, it means you can't, it's going to happen and there's nothing
Yeah.
you can do to stop it from happening. Oh, it's inevitable that I will fail my driving test. It's inevitable. Well,
It's
nothing's
inevitable.
inevitable.
In
Inevitable.
inevitable.
Yeah, that's pretty much there. So it does want practice though. So inevitably. So it's actually inevitable is ly, isn't it? So inevitably.
Inevitably.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Inevitably. Yeah. So we do rush the middle of a lot of words, I would say, in English. But I think the Americans don't rush them quite so much, but we do rush them a bit. So yeah, inevitably. Inevitably.
Inevitably.
Yeah, you've got it there. That's it. But the problem is, of course, not imagining, remembering that in an hour's time.
Mm. When I see it, I would never say it. I have to just not look at it because my brain takes me to some
Yeah,
completely different word. I don't know why.
yeah, yeah. I can understand that. The letters actually, the word trips you up
Yeah,
almost.
when I see it, I know somewhere from, I know
Mm,
this was from somewhere. And when I start reading, I already had feeling this is not the way I read. This is why I can't pronounce.
yeah, I think I understand. Yeah.
So literally destroying the, yeah, you could read and you could say it. But
Mm.
I can say it, but I can't read it because I wouldn't be able to say it. Yeah, so I just closed my eyes and just said it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah. The problem, partly the problem, I guess, is so. Is there a Spanish word which is similar,
Yeah, I think there exists this. Yeah, I think it has to be
or Latin, or yeah, yeah. So it is
in
tricky. I understand.
inevitably, yeah,
Yeah,
inevitably.
that's spot on. That is exactly. That's exactly right. That's it. Um,
Yeah,
I,
today my colleague teach me very
hmm.
strange word that are like unfathomable. I don't know.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
so
yeah.
difficult. I don't know if if I said it
Yeah,
now.
that's it. Yes, that's pretty good. So un. Where's the F? Fathom. So it's un. Couple little gaps in the word. So un is obviously. Whoops.
Yeah,
Last. So un makes it an opposite, doesn't it? It makes the opposite word. So
yeah.
fathom and able.
Fathom
That's
able.
really what you're saying. Unfathomable. Unfathomable.
Yeah, but when
So
you breaks down the word, it
mm,
sounds different.
yeah, it does. But that's. I suppose it's. I think of it this way because it helps me to remember it a little bit better. Because a fathom is a
Fathom.
measurement of distance, well, of depth actually, a measurement
Ah,
of
no.
depth. So on a boat, they would throw a line over the bottom of the boat, see how deep the water was, and so if would the boat hit the ground and sink. So they had to find out how deep the water was whenever they were going around in boats. So throw this line over, and they measured it in fathoms. So when something
Okay.
became unfathomable, it meant it was
I'm
really,
able
really
to
deep. And
read
well,
it in a
don't
way.
bother. We're not going to sink now because it's so deep. It's unfathomable, and that's why the word comes about. That's my understanding anyway.
Unfathomable. Yeah.
So fathom. I think I'm spelling. I think that's. Is that correct? That spelling? I don't know. My spelling's terrible.
Fathom. Is it fathom? Yeah.
So yeah, fathom. Fathom.
Fathom.
Um. Yeah, you're putting an F in the middle. So I'm saying fathom. I'm saying fathomable. Fathom.
Fa-
So let's
Fathom.
Let's stick it
Strange.
in here. Let's get it in. Let's put it in the dictionary. Fathom. Fathom. Do you want to try again? Fathom.
Um, fathom.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's good.
Fathom. Okay.
Fathom. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yes. Yeah, we've got to get the
Unfathomable.
un in the front. So unfathomable. Unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
That's not bad, actually. Unfathomable.
But funny thing is when you're at that able is
Fathomable.
like
Yeah.
the sequence of the sounds tricks me so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Un unfathomable.
I've spelled it correctly. Amazingly, I spelled it. I think I spelled it correctly.
It's
So let's
very
listen.
difficult word. I think there's many people who would, even English people would have not
Yeah,
really
it's a bit of an older word. Yeah, it's not very common according to this. It's almost rare according to them. So let's listen to how they say it.
unfathomable,
Yeah.
un, unfathomable. No,
Almost. Let's listen again. I'll play it again.
unfathomable,
You'll go.
unfathomable. No,
Nearly. So unfathomable. Unfathomable.
unfathomable.
To the unfather. Um, so I think you had it. Could you remember that guy taught you? So unfathomable.
Unfathomable
Unfathomable.
or
Unfathomable.
able. Okay, unfathomable.
Um, well,
It's able, is it? Able.
we spell it as able, but when
But
it's part of another word, we
yeah,
don't
it's
really say
different.
able on the end of it. It's not doesn't really come out as able.
Yeah, I know
So
that. Yeah,
so if I just say the whole word slightly slowly, unfathomable, unfathomable.
unfathomable.
That's that's pretty close. Unfathomable. Yeah.
Unfathomable.
Partly you got an F, then you've got a
And
TH. That's really tricky. That's the tricky bit there. That's always tripping you up. The f and then the th, th.
but
That's really
fathom.
tripping you up.
But I
And then
think I
it's in the
could
middle
say,
of the word.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think I could say this word fathom. Is it
yeah,
correct? You
yeah.
know,
Fathom. That's pretty good. Fathom. Yeah, that's it.
fathom.
The first one was better, but
Yeah,
it's not too
um,
bad. Fathom, fathom,
fathom.
fathom. Yeah.
Unfathomable.
Yeah, yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Unfathomable. No, unfathom. I don't know.
Well,
No, I
right,
don't.
right. Okay, so I'm doing it slowly. When you're learning anything and you want to get the speed up, you have to start slowly.
Yeah,
But the thing is, you start slowly and then you rush it a little bit. Well, quite a lot actually. You know, when you're doing football and you're weaving a ball in and out of cones in a football pitch. You want to do it really fast. That's what you want to do, but you can't start off really fast. You've got to start off slow until you get the skills, and it might take weeks or even months getting the skills. And it's exactly the same with this. You've got to start off slowly, but keep slowly, but build up the speed slowly. Build up the speed gradually until you get like normal, normal speed sort of thing.
yeah. I would say I'm just a chancer to speed up. Maybe I will.
Yeah, yeah, you're a chancer. You want to rush it to the end very, very quickly.
Yes,
Well, we all are chancers, really, probably.
it's in some cases it works. I don't know how, but
Yeah, the thing is, you have spent, I don't know, some guy you said has said to you, or has helped you with it already. So it's in there. I'm sure it's in there, and we're just trying to get it out again. But we've lost it. Things you might have made it worse. We might have hidden it, but putting so much other mistakes in there that he probably told
yeah,
you one way to do it, and I've told you the opposite way. Oh dear, we'll leave that then. The only other word I struck me was so that was an unfathomable, an unword, but this is another unword as well.
I'm
So
tarnished.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, untarnished. That's right. Yeah, that's it. So it's his blade, his sword. There's not a mark on it, despite being
Mm.
over 2,000 years old, because Alexander the Great saw it. Apparently, there's not a bit of rust on his sword somehow. So maybe we'll leave the story there. So I thought that was a good reading though, but it was a bit long. I think it was a bit long for you. I think
Yeah.
Zach at the end, it was a bit like a drudge at the end for you. I think, but it's an interesting
Um,
story. Any
um,
comments about the story itself, Michael or Zach? What do you think? The madness of this story.
I don't know. Okay, Zach, go,
yeah, go on. No?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the story is interesting in itself because it shows like the guy is in different era or
Mm.
epocha. Epoch, I don't know.
Epochs, maybe epochs. Or
Epoch, yeah,
eras is most people heard. Well, answered eras. I think. Yeah,
or
eras.
even age, I would say,
Yeah, different
because
ages.
when
Yeah, the ancient age, and then he comes
yeah,
into the modern times. Yeah, with
yeah,
bullets.
literally the time when bullets go through
Yeah.
his head is like kind of modern or very early 17th or 8th, 19th centuries or something like that.
Um, this sort of reminds me a little bit of the film Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, where someone goes through the same day again and again,
Ah,
and it
yeah.
always goes back to the beginning. But here, he's a fighter, and it's a new battle. There's another battle with Alexander, then with Caesar, and then with barbarians or something, wasn't there? And it struck me. There's this bit here. So he goes through all those battles, and then there comes a time when it looks as if every night the rivers carry their waters to the sea. I read this bit actually, didn't I? All of those many stars gazed down on me from the heavens while I lay on the ground, protected by my shield, with my sword clasped in my hand, pondering my destiny for the countless time. So when it says countless time there, and he's talking about the rivers carrying their waters down to the sea, every night they do that, it sounds as if he's lying on the ground for like a year or something. Like he's bored of living or bored of fighting all these fights maybe, and he's sick of it, I guess. If you remember the film Groundhog Day, that happened. If you've ever seen that film, it happens in that film. The guy gets bored of living that one day again and again.
But in this story, if I understand correctly, he is bored to live because he's
Living.
immortal, living immortal.
Yeah, yeah.
And the last paragraph, uh,
On the next page, you mean?
yes, when when we read this
Mm, yeah,
paragraph, it
yeah.
thinks it's. I think he could make a deal with someone. Looks like a devil, and he's became immortal, and he became a warrior, immortal warrior, and and the last paragraph. He believe he have a hope that maybe it's a devil and we could change another we could make another deal,
Mm. Yeah, so it says, offer me something new. Yeah,
something new, yes.
yeah,
So in
yeah. A
exchange for
deal
eternity,
offer. Yeah,
in exchange for the eternity.
to which I
So
had grown so tired. Yeah, yeah. Fascinating. So this is. I'm sure I've heard of this. I'm sure I've heard of this idea before. The eternal. Yeah, eternity. So the eternal soldier. Um, the eternal. Have I spelled that right? Oh, eternal. My spelling. The eternal soldier. So I don't know what the W is doing in there. I think I've heard of that as a story before. So it's this. In a way, this guy represents all the soldiers throughout history who have been in all those battles, fought all those wars, but never died. I don't know if you've ever watched Star Trek. I'm sure there's an episode in Star Trek where there is this guy. Maybe I'm dreaming it, where it was exactly like this story. He fought in lots of battles, but he never dies. He never gets killed in a battle. He always somehow survives. Or if he gets injured, he just somehow always gets better. But in this story, the guy says he doesn't know what the color of his blood is, does it? So my blood, whose color I don't know even now. So everyone knows it's red, but he's never seen it. He's never seen his own blood, which is kind of, he never even cut his finger, presumably. Weird.
but
Impossible.
he could but he couldn't avoid they can't avoid the war, and he tried. he tried but can't because he, I
Hmm.
think, sold his, uh, I don't know, soul to the
Yeah.
devil, exchanged to the immortal, or
Maybe.
it's in my, and he's tired
Yeah.
of this life. He is living
Hmm.
ages, centuries, and
Millennia even. Yeah. Centuries is
yes,
hundreds of
yes,
years, so
in the
millennia is
millennium, yes.
thousand. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And he's tired of it, as you say, so tired. So, but the thing is, men are always new. There's always a new generation of men, and that those new men, they're never tired of battle, are they? Those new men are never tired of battle. It's only when those men get older, into their 50s or 60s, then they're tired of battle. Then they see that, oh, battle is a terrible thing. We must avoid it. But when we're in our 20s or teens, perhaps even, we think battle is a nice idea. It needs to be fought sometimes, perhaps not all every time. So there's a kind of a maturity through the story, or that he's growing up as the story goes on, just as people do, as individual people grow up in their lives. That's what I see, I think. Having read it two or three, well, three or four, five or six times now, I think I've read this story. So it's sort of like a maturity is happening in the story. But it just took him 2,000 years, which is similar to the film, what's it called again? Groundhog Day. That's it. So Groundhog Day. I think groundhog is one word, actually, isn't it? I think.
With Bill Murray in
Bill
main.
Murray. That's it. Yeah, Bill Murray. That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah. I like that film actually. So have you seen that film, Zach? Groundhog Day.
yeah. It rings the bell. The guy just wakes up at the same moment, exact uh
Yeah, six
time.
o'clock in the morning, I think it is. That's right. Yes, he wakes up in the same bed, facing the same way, and the same music on the radio. Exactly. That's right. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yes. It must be for
But
years. It must happen for years. I should think. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this story? Let's give it a think.
but I watched the movie, but I
Hmm.
don't remember
Yeah.
the name. It's maybe it's Emily.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's the woman
Yeah.
who
He
can't. Uh,
that he falls in love with. You mean? He falls in love with the bass, doesn't he? In the story. Is that what you mean? Groundhog Day?
no. It's not about Groundhog Day.
Oh.
It's another movie when
Oh.
woman
Okay.
woman can't become older because
Hmm.
she was struck by the lightning, lightning,
Light, lightning. Yeah.
lightning,
She was
lightning.
struck by lightning.
Yes, and he can't become older.
She
He
can't
looks.
become older.
Yes, of course she
Okay.
can, and she become in the same age, like 35 or I don't know, and it's also this situation lasts during centuries, and how she struggled, not centuries, but maybe 50
Hmm.
years, and she struggled to uh, also relocated from one town, from one country to another, because uh,
Hmm.
and change your passport, uh, because
Of course. Yeah.
it's problem. Yes,
That would be a problem, wouldn't it? So what's the name of that film? I don't. I know. It doesn't strike
I
me.
don't know. I know it's quite popular because
Hmm.
it's maybe Harrison Ford also play there. Or it's like drama,
Oh.
and Emily,
Hmm.
Life of Emily, maybe. Mm.
Something like that. Okay, maybe I'll search that and see what that comes up with. Sounds interesting.
No, no, no. Uh, I don't remember, but
Well,
it's
we'll have to ask ChatGPT or something and see what it says, or Gemini
uh,
and see what it says. What's the name of the film where this happens? Give it the story or something. That's interesting. So the problems that lady would have had are very interesting. So, and we don't really see.
ah
Oh yeah.
the age of Adeline.
Oh, Adeline.
The age. Uh, I put in the chat. I put in the chat this.
Okay.
The age of Adeline. The
Okay.
name. The age of Adeline.
So I've just clicked on chat. It's taking a little while to come up. Zach's had to go. Yeah, I've not heard of that. Okay. So let me just close that window. Bring another one. So I'm searching this. Oh, 25, so 10 years old. Romantic fantasy film. Lee Tolland Krieger? Krieger?
Sorry, I just remembered movie about. Did you remember a movie about Duncan MacLeod?
Duncan MacLeod. Duncan MacLeod.
Yeah.
And what happened to that film then?
Do you remember? There also was Immortal Man who I don't remember, but he he fought by swords with another people, and it's a quite old TV show. I was a kid.
As a TV show rather than say
Yeah.
a film or something. Okay. Well, let's end the class bit there.